Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance, and today I've got two more Milwaukee air tips that I want to look at. And if you don't know what air tips are, Milwaukee is calling those trade-focused vacuum accessories, but they're not just for Milwaukee vacuums. That's what I'm going to use it with today is my M18 vacuum, but as long as your vacuum has an 1.25" hose, an 1 7/8" hose, or a 2.5" hose, you can use any of these accessories on whatever vacuum it is that you have. So it doesn't matter if it's a DeWalt vacuum, a Festool vacuum, Bosch, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter. Rigid is another good vacuum brand out there. If you have a vacuum that has one of those hoses, you can use any of these tips. Now, last weekend, I mentioned and made a video for my air tips that were the flexible hoses. If you haven't checked that out and you think that that might be something that's interesting to you, you might want to check that out. I'll put a card for that video here and also a link in the description down below for that one. And today I'm going to do a very similar thing with these two. I'm going to take them out of the box, show you the features, tell you what they say they're supposed to do. I've got some footage of one of them as far as how I've used it in this last week, and then I'm also going to put this one to test today and compare it to what it says that it does better than the standard version of what it might be. So let's start out by looking at this one, which is the 2-in-1 utility brush tool, and that's the part number there is 49902028. This is a 2-in-1. It has a sliding brush. It says it helps protect delicate surfaces. So let's get it out of the box. Let's see what it looks like. So out of the box, this is what you get for the 2-in-1 utility brush tool. And let me start out by showing with this that all the Milwaukee air tips, my flexible hoses had an adapter that you actually connect, but all the rest of them basically have this kind of attachment point, and that's how it allows you to attach to any hose that you want. Your 1.25" hose will fit on the inside of here, which that's what my M18 vacuum is. On my last video, I actually said it was an 1 7/8" because I didn't have my vacuum with me, and I looked it up, and that's what it said that it was. Perhaps it's talking about the pack-out vacuum. If you've got the pack-out vacuum, comment down below if it's an 1 7/8" hose. I don't have an 1 7/8" hose, but that is what would go on the outside here, and then your 2.5 fits on the inside. So that's how it is able to accept all sorts of different hoses, so whatever it is that suits your need. But then out of the box, you also get your standard kind of nozzle. So if you're just picking up big stuff and you're going along and you need to do that, well, now if you've got something that you need to be agitated, or if you've got a delicate surface, you have these brushes here that it's a matter of just sliding it up, and now that's locked into place. You can easily swap between the two, so you don't have to change an attachment. If you've got this attachment on you, you can go from not needing a brush to needing a brush fairly quickly. You can see this little pin here. If I take and I press down on this, it slides back, locks into place that way. So again, that's really all there is to this. Let me get you some dimensions. As far as from the end to kind of where it attaches to the vacuum, you're looking at 11 inches as far as your reach. And then your nozzle up here is basically about 2 3/8. And then it's about 1 inch wide of an opening. So again, that's the 2-in-1 brush tool. Not a lot more I can say about it. I'm just going to make this video short and sweet. But let me show you, I did use it in action a little bit this week. So here you can see I'm using the Milwaukee 2-in-1 utility brush tool. I'm using it on an exhaust fan that is over top of a shower. I don't know when the last time that this fan was clean, but you can see that as I am using the brush on the fan, it is doing a great job at getting that clean. It's agitating that dust, causing it to break loose of those little, the vent, and then also it's causing that to get sucked right into the vacuum. So I think that it did a pretty good job on that. I used it on a couple other fans and it did just the same. But yeah, that's the 2-in-1 utility brush tool. Again, not much more I can say about it. How would you use this if you have it? I can see myself, again, using it a lot on return registers or HVAC stuff, all sorts of different things like that. I'm a little curious. This bristle is not real hard. I would say it's kind of like a medium. It's not so soft that it's just weak. But I'm a little curious on how it would work just on, as a coil brush or whatever it might be. Maybe you could work, if I'm talking about the fur coat condensers. I'm not talking about just to use it in general. To get off some of that stuff before you wash it, if you're in a space where you don't want all that stuff going everywhere. I mean, most of the time you're outside and you're not by anything, it doesn't hurt to just knock all that dust off out into the wild. But maybe you're somewhere where it matters, or working on an indoor mini split unit or something like that. I see HVAC all over this. But again, let me know if you've got this, how you're using it in the comments below. I'd be interested to know that as well. But now that we've looked at that, let's look at the other one that I picked up this week. So the second air tip that I bought this week is the cross brush tool, and part number is 49902035. And again, I'll put links to all these things down in the description as well. But they say the big thing for this one is the cross design prevents brushes from pushing debris away. So it's a little bit different than maybe your standard brush that you might would have got with your shop vac or whatever else. But let's get it out of the package. Let's see what it looks like and compare it to maybe that of the other one. So again, looking at the cross brush, same exact thing as the 2-in-1 utility and also the adapter on my flexible hoses. This is what allows it to connect to all those different hoses. As far as dimensions, we have, let's say, from here back until where we get to the vacuum, about 8.5 inches. And then as far as this opening, you're looking at a circle of 2.5 inch diameter as far as the amount of place that you have for suction. And again, this will go on my Milwaukee vacuum or any other vacuum. It doesn't matter as long as it's one of those hose sizes. But the difference between this one is you have this cross brush. And of course, as you go over debris, it's kind of like a channel. And I'll show you that in action here in comparison to that of the standard brush that you would have. So I'm going to start out with your typical brush tool. This would be one that might have came with your shop vac, or if you go down the aisle at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever it is you shop and you look at shop vac attachments, this is going to be your typical brush that you're going to find. As you can see, again, it's solid all the way around. We'll start by trying to pick up this pile with this. We'll see what it does to the pile, and then we'll swap over to the cross brush by Milwaukee, and we'll see what kind of a difference that makes. You can see it's just moving the pile, so unless I actually pick up on it and come back and go over top, it's just going to keep moving stuff around. Not real well, not a real good job. So now let's switch over to the cross brush, and again you can see that you've got basically, it's kind of gonna, the brushes are gonna funnel it into the center and hopefully do a lot better job of not pushing the pile. That's the whole idea behind this one. That's the big thing that it says that it does, is that it prevents brushes from pushing the debris away like you just saw with the standard brush. So let's try this one now. Quite a bit of difference there. You can see that it does kind of perform like they said. The brushes do keep it quite a bit up off of the surface that you're kind of cleaning. So whenever you get down to that little fine stuff, you've got to press down harder in order to flatten that out to get enough suction to get that out, because you're kind of already about probably 3/4 of an inch off the surface. So it just depends on what kind of material that is. But that was a big difference to me. I don't know if it showed up as well to you, but as far as it went right through that pile barely moved away from its original location compared to that of the standard brush. I think that's a big difference. So again, I think that this is a good upgrade for a little bit of a brush tool in certain situations. You know, this is going to work better as far as picking up things and not pushing it around. So yeah, that's the Milwaukee cross brush along with the 2-in-1 utility air tip. I think that they're both going to be useful at different times for me. And again, none of these are daily occurrence users for me. I'm not going to use this every day or that or the flexible hoses. But there's going to be times show up where it's going to be the right tool for the job. And that's what I always like to have. Let me know what you think about them. Also, especially if you do have them, let me know what situations you use them in or which situations work the best for you. Another thing I would like is if y'all would search air tip on Home Depot or wherever it is that you buy your Milwaukee tools, if you get them, or even you don't have to have Milwaukee tools, get on Home Depot and search Milwaukee air tip, because you can use these with any vacuum. Search those, look at all of them. There's tons of them out there. Tell me which one, comment below with which one that you would like to have the most, how you would use it, and what trade that you're in, just so I would have an idea of, hey, that sounds like a good idea. I didn't even think about using that in that way, and I actually run into that pretty often. That would help me in kind of figuring out maybe which ones I want to buy next. But let me know in the comments below. I hope all is well with each and every one of you. Hope you stay safe. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.